How you doing, Adam?
Very good, very good.
What do you do when you are not in tour with VOLA?
Other music work on the side, some session recordings. I record drums for others. I play drums live with some other bands and artists sometimes. So a lot of practice and recording and stuff like that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe that right now that you are almost 2 weeks away. No, 1 week away from
1 week. Yeah.
from the Latin American tour. You are
Yes.
rehearsing very hard.
Actually, we were in Australia and Japan a week ago, so I don't rehearse so much the Vola stuff. That's already in my system. So I just stay in shape. Generally, I just play drums overall to stay in good shape.
Do you have a regime or a workout?
I'm actually just now starting to have a regime or a routine.
Ah, yes.
Before that, I didn't have that. So I'm gonna start actually these days to work out, specifically the legs. Yeah, I need to get better double bass. So I'm practicing a lot that now. Every day I sit down for a bit of time. I do just some right, left with the feet. Try to get a good technique, and then I play a bunch of songs with the double kick, but then also with my left foot only because my left foot is weak. So I need to level up.
You are ahead of your third Latin American tour for your third time coming to Latin America and the
Yes,
first time coming to Argentina. How do you feel about
exactly.
that?
That's super exciting. It's a new world for me. It's a country I've never been to. We've heard a lot of people ask that we play there. So it's always been a thing that we want to do. And finally, we can do it.
Yeah. Do you know anything about our country? Do you know anything about our fan base?
I don't know anything about the country, actually. I guess about the fan base. The impression that I have so far is that it's very dedicated and very energetic, which is very nice and very different from what we have in Scandinavia. Because here everyone is so chill
Yeah.
and they don't express a lot with their face. But in Latin America, my impression so far overall has been that it's much more warm and
Yes.
expressive. So I expect Argentina to be like that too.
Well, it will be like that. I spoke about this with Michael Lepond of Symphony X some weeks
Mm,
ago, and he said the same thing. Well, every
yeah.
musician that comes from United States and from Europe
Mm,
says that the Latin American crowd is very warm, very passionate.
that's awesome. The similar we have in Europe is when you go more south in Europe, Italy, for example. There they can
Yes.
also be very very passionate. So we have a little taste of it, but Latin America is that's where you have to go for the full experience.
Yes. You said that you just ended the Japan and Australian tour. How is it like to play in those places?
That was awesome as well. Both those countries, first time playing there and first time visiting there as well. Japan was very, very different from anything we've experienced because it's our first show in an Asian country, and it was very similar actually to what we have here in Scandinavia in terms
Yes.
of the social expression. Because in Japan they're very reserved and very very like calm, and they
Yes.
will tell you after the show what they feel. And during the show, it's kind of calm, and we have the same here in Sweden, for example. Australia was a bit more energetic. It felt a bit more familiar though, because everyone speaks English
Yes.
there. It reminds me of the United States in terms of just how things look, but of course the nature is different, the climate and the language a little bit. But it was a bit more familiar. While Japan was really like something very new. I couldn't read the signs. I didn't understand anything. I loved it. Very, very polite people and very, very nice people in both Japan and Australia.
Yeah, it's more like Japan. They are more respectful on when it comes to the appreciation of the art. Do you think that?
Yes, exactly. Yes, they take it very seriously in a sense of showing their respect for it. That felt familiar to what we have back home. That kind of calm energy, which is nice. But sometimes also, like when going to Latin America, we expect the other side of that spectrum,
Yeah, of course.
which is a nice thing.
You were talking about that you were starting to work out and doing this stuff? Apart from when it comes to the double bass, what that consists in?
I do a lot of different songwriting, whether it's for VOLA or for my own stuff or for other projects. So that's not technically a workout, but it's part of my practice to always write music, because it also helps you decide what to play when and how to create ideas. And that's very important. It's not only about what you are technically able to play, but also what you choose to play. So I try to combine both those things. But now I'm also spending some time with my hands, because it's very I don't practice rudiments often at all. And now there is a situation where I actually have to, doing some single strokes, some double strokes, right, left, just getting those basics a bit better. Also trying to stay relaxed, because when we play and we're tensed, it doesn't go well. So always just stay relaxed. I always try to focus on that. So all of that combined, I think that's my general practice routine, to have a good, healthy approach to the drums.
And when you have this approach, how do you process in your mind what you want to play, which song you want to play, and how you want to play it?
To take it a step back even further, deciding what you want to do or how you want to do it is one of the main things we do as drummers. So when it comes to the practice, deciding what to practice, it has to do with what do I want to be able to play. If I want to be able to play jazz, I'm going to practice jazz. But if I don't want to play jazz at all, then I'm not going to practice jazz. Just like purely and simply knowing that this is what I want to learn, so that is what I have to practice. It's very simple when you say it like that, but sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that. And then when it comes to songs, it's a bit similar, because then I think about what does the song say. So if it's a very, happy love song, well, then I want to make sure that my drums can add to that expression. So maybe I'm not going, angry and playing super aggressive on the drums, because then I express something aggressive. But if it's a happy love song, maybe I need to express something more gentle. While if it's an angry song, then maybe I need to express something more aggressive.
Yes.
So I play maybe a little bit harder, maybe a bit more intense, and maybe the ideas that I play sound more aggressive and raw. When you think about what sounds can we do with the drums, you can think about the most natural thing, which is a heartbeat. A heartbeat is rhythm, and it can tell us different things. If it's a very fast heartbeat, it says one thing. If the heartbeat is very slow, it says another thing. If the heartbeat is slow but going faster, it also means another thing. That's something that they do in horror movies, They have a heartbeat and it's just going faster and faster and faster because something is arriving. So we can use that on the drums. Then we can, decide what do we want to use, because what do we want to say.
Going back in time to 2017, when you first joined VOLA, what I noticed is that from In Mazes to Applause of a Distant Crowd, there was a really pleasant change on the sound of VOLA. How did you manage to enter in the composition process of Applause of a Distant Crowd, and then in the other albums, in Witness and Friend of a Phantom?
Applause of a Distant Crowd was the first album that I did with VOLA, and there they had already written a few songs. When I entered into it, I kind of had to adapt the drum parts and make it my own. While for Witness and Friend of a Phantom, I was there from the start of the album creation, so I had a bit more input in the actual songs. But for Applause of a Distant Crowd, it was a lot about first getting to know the VOLA sound, to know kind of what's the DNA of the band, and then add my own touch, but not making it too much, still making it fit in the universe. So it was a little bit more like a session drummer, even though I was a member at that point. It was so early in the process that it was kind of
you felt that way.
That approach, yeah, exactly, yeah. And then with the years, it has grown into something else, yeah.
It was difficult for you to catch up with the sound of the band.
Not really, actually. It fit pretty well. Yeah, surprisingly easy to get into the sound of the band. Partly it is because I practiced a lot of that kind of music growing up, but also we were lucky because the ideas they created fit very well for my style. So it was like just a good connection from the start.
There's this fact that you are from Sweden and the band is from Denmark.
Yeah.
How do you manage to rehearse, to join the guys, to be together? Is there a complication for you being from another country?
No, it's actually very easy. So our countries are right next to each other.
Yeah.
And I live maybe it's like 6 or 7 hours to drive. So it is a long drive to get there. But we practice actually most of the time on our own at home. So we don't need to rehearse in order to know the songs. The only thing we do is before a tour, maybe we meet 1 or 2 days before. So I fly down there and we rehearse just to check that all the equipment is working properly, maybe do a small adjustment to the set list, and then we fly to wherever we're playing. And sometimes we meet up to write some music as well, but most of the time we do it from home online. A few times per year we meet up just to rehearse or write music, and it's working well to do most of the things online because everyone in the band is also busy with their own things. We wouldn't be able to meet every week.
You were speaking about putting the equipment on point, and that reminds me that VOLA suffered a fire. It was difficult for you in that moment, but as faster that equipment was gone, the faster it came back. How did you manage to recover so fast of that fire?
Yeah, it was both horrible and amazing. So obviously the fire that was really bad. It wasn't only our equipment, but it was a full warehouse where people stored all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The full thing just burnt down in a night. All our live rig, a lot of merch, some memorabilia, instruments, everything just gone. So there was a lot to replace, but luckily we had such good support from our fans, which was really amazing. So we managed to rebuild the live rig just in time for the Japan-Australia tour, and also for this. Now, when we play these shows live, we feel like an extra level of gratitude for everyone who helped in any way. It has been a roller coaster, definitely, but with a good ending.
I want to talk a little bit about Friend of a Phantom. It is almost 2 years since the release of that record. How do you see that record in retrospective now? Which learning do you have about recording that album?
Yeah, that album, it was recorded once again with Jacob Hansen in Denmark, who mixed Witness. The songwriting of the album, it happened kind of during the end of COVID, and the album was recorded right after. When making that album, we came out of this period of time where we didn't know if time passed quickly or slowly, because everyone says, where did those years go? So it was this mix of some time just disappearing, but at the same time everything going so slow, and we're just trapped in this pandemic. So the songwriting also became a bit disjointed. So we had to split the recording session into 2 because we didn't have enough songs ready. That resulted in a new kind of interesting approach where we finished one of the songs in the studio, for example. And that was Bleed Out. Usually the songs are done, we go in the studio and we record. But there we were in the studio. It was like the last day of recording, and we still had a song not done, not ready. So we decided to finish it in the studio, just all together working on it. It actually turned out into something very nice. So now I think our approach to songwriting has changed a little bit because of that. And now we are writing the next album We have started writing the music for it, and I feel like we have a different approach now when making the songs, which is very exciting because it can give some new results, I think.
How are you approaching the songwriting for this new album?
We try to do it more structured, and we try to split things up. So instead of all of us working on the same idea, when we meet up in Denmark from time to time for those songwriting sessions, we have at least 2 computers instead that we can record on. So one person is here and one person is here, and we rotate, and we give input on ideas, but then we switch quickly to another idea. So we don't want to stay too long on the same idea, and we don't want to just do one thing at a time, but rather have a more creative flow where maybe ideas will come later. So we put something to the side, we jump on something else, we go back to that old thing, and we let the impulse control us a bit more. I think we have already a few interesting ideas that have started to grow. So yeah, I'm excited.
And me too, because I was going to ask you if you were working on the follow-up to Friend of a Phantom. Well, now you answer me. Do you have any time window that you think that you are going to release it?
Not yet. It's still a bit too early to say, but I think we're aiming for sometime next year.
Going back to Friend of a Phantom, I really love the concept that all the songs talks about different phantoms. But there is specifically one song that hit me very, very hard, and it's literally this phrase, "Your champagne is still on a tray." I couldn't figure out the metaphor there, but I wanted to ask, whose champagne is still on a tray?
That song in general talks about some sort of addiction. One person is kind of stuck in that, and one person has moved on. The person's champagne, who's still on a tray, is the person who, still in it. But basically the phantom in that one is keeping this person in these bad habits. I think because it's Asger who wrote the lyrics, in the way he visualized it takes form in alcohol, but the broader kind of topic is more that kind of addictive phantom.
I like the way that you express yourself in the on the stage, almost like you are dancing on the stage. What leads you to express you in that way?
Honestly, I just go into the music.
Yes.
Whatever I feel from it, I put myself into it, and whatever happens from there happens. I don't really, plan or think about the specific movements or rehearse the movements. It's more, just giving myself over to it. And it's very liberating to do that, because also when I see the crowd and they do that, they're just, singing along and giving themselves into the song. I want to do that as well. And in terms of drumming, there is a very important part of, you always have to stay relaxed when playing drums. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult, especially during a live show. But at the same time, you want to, be in the song and show some energy. So you have to find a way to do that without being tensed. And I think maybe that's where this kind of dancey thing comes from. Because I wanna move around, but I cannot do it with tension.
Would you love to play another instrument on another band, or even in VOLA if the opportunity comes?
It would be fun. I do sing as well, so I do some singing, but I haven't done that live yet.
Do you think that there is a difference between being an artist and being a musician?
Yes, 100%. I think all of these questions about what do we actually want to express, what do we want to say, and what do we want to transfer to the listener is questions that artists deal with and create, while purely a musician, at least in my opinion, it's more like a hired gun for this specific thing. Play this, do it super well, and that's it. While an artist has these questions and ideas, maybe I should do this instead if I want to transmit that. It's a bit like, in the kitchen, you can have a chef who's hired to just, okay, now the next thing on the menu to cook is a burger, all right, and then launch the fries and do this, that. But the artist will be the person, creating the experience, creating the menu.
Exactly.
Maybe choosing this instead of that because they want to use the flavors that brings you back to your childhood, for example. I think an artist is a person that works with their body, their mind, and their soul all in one.
There's been almost 10 years since you joined VOLA, and also there's been 10 years that VOLA didn't have any lineup change. What do you think is the key for that, for keeping together all the time?
Honestly, it's very simple, actually. Be friendly and listen to each other. Just take care of whoever is in your vicinity. As long as you're kind, that's really the most important. And within being kind is also being respectful. You respect the time of the others, you respect their opinions, you respect their rhythm and their emotions, and you want everyone to be happy. If you stick to that, then most things in life will be much, much easier.
Adam, thank you for your time, and I'm really grateful for being here talking with you. Do you wish to give any message to your Argentinian fan base?
I'm so excited that we can finally see you in the real life and visit and play there. Finally, it's happening. Super excited, and thank you for everyone who listens to us over there, who will come to the show, who will have fun to our music. So yeah, thank you, and see you very, very soon.
I hope to see you next March 13 here in Uniclub in Buenos Aires. Looking forward to see you here, Adam, and you and everybody in VOLA.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.